Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very, very special night with the East Texas A&M University Wind Ensemble. Let's give a round of applause to these students, first of all. Tonight marks the final performance under the baton of Maestro Phil Clements. So I'd like for you to join me in celebrating not only a great musician, but a great leader and mentor. A round of applause for Mr. Phil Clements. It's a profound honor to lead tonight's recognitions. My name is Garth Gunderson. I'm the Associate Director of Bands here at East Texas A&M University. Like all of you, I feel truly privileged to be here for this historic night. Mr. Clements has been here for 17 years of tireless service, steadfast leadership, and unforgettable music making at this university. To begin this evening's tributes, please welcome two dear colleagues who have worked closely alongside with Mr. Phil Clements through the years. Dr. Julie Kim Walker, Professor of Flute and Assistant Head of the School of Music, and Ms. Darla Meek, Coordinator of Music Education. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here today as we celebrate a wonderful teacher and mentor. If you ever had Mr. Clements as your teacher, band director, mentor, or colleague, would you please stand?
Take a look around. You are all a living testament to Mr. Clements' lasting legacy. Please be seated. Thank you for being here today. And thank you, Phil Clements, for your years of dedication and love and unwavering commitment to music and music education here in Texas and far beyond.
On behalf of the School of Music, we thank you, Mr. Clements, for the profound impact you've had on each of us and on the program as a whole. And never forget,
Go Lions!
Professor Clements has also been a central figure and coordinator for Tau Beta Sigma, TBS, and Kappa Kappa Psi at this university. The chapters grew in numbers and scope during his time here at ETAMU. The 2024-2025 presidents of Tau Beta Sigma, Brianne Fennell, and Kappa Kappa Psi President Veronica Flores will now present on behalf of their chapters. Please welcome Brianne Fennell and Veronica Flores.
Director of Bands, but also as the dedicated sponsor of the Greek and Music Service organizations Kappa Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma. On behalf of our chapters, we, the presidents, would like to express our deepest gratitude. In this role, Mr. Clements has touched every aspect of our organizations and has made a profound and lasting impact on generations of members.
In recognition of your years of service, musicianship, and leadership, we wanted to present to you a special gift. At East Texas A&M, it is a tradition for a new member to craft a paddle for their big. A big is a mentor who provides guidance and serves as a role model as the new member embarks on their next journey in the chapter. In keeping with this tradition, our chapters have created two paddles for you, Mr. Clements, each signed by the members as a symbol of our appreciation and respect.
Thank you, Mr. Clements, for everything you have done for us.
All right, next we'd like to welcome, we have some special guests here, but my predecessor, who was here for many, many years at East Texas A&M University, many of you know, Mr. Alan Goodwin, left this place in incredible shape, and so I was so blessed to be able to follow in his footsteps. And you know that he has some great stories that he'd like to share with you about the many years he spent with Mr. Phil Clements. So everybody, Mr. Alan Goodwin.
Thanks to Dr. Walker for being vertically challenged and getting the microphone in place where I can actually get to it. Greatly appreciated. I'm going to move some papers here just to be mean to Professor Anderson. Because I, on the other hand, do not have any paperwork here today. I just wanted to share a few things with all of you. And to be honest, to begin with a story that I don't know that anybody in the room knows except me. I started as a long time ago, in the 80s, as a freshman music education major at the University of North Texas. At that time, the College of Music at that university was massive. There were about 100 trumpet players on campus, of which I was one, and vertically challenged. I was a jazz player with hopes of playing jazz maybe for a living and perhaps being a band director as well. When I got there, when you get into a sea of humanity like that, you're trying to search for how do I carve a path through all of this to find some success. The jazz idiom was difficult because most of the jazz players in the top ensembles were in their late 20s, early 30s. They were coming back from being professionals to earn degrees. So I was in the marching band at North Texas as a freshman and was looking around for, okay, who seems to have this figured out? And before too long, I realized there was a drum major that seemed to have the ear of the faculty, seemed to have good relationships there, enjoyed what that person was teaching and how they were leading. In fact, that person came down off the drum major podium to congratulate me, tell me I was marching my butt off or something to that effect as a freshman in his first couple of weeks of school, which I appreciated. I took a little bit more notice of that person over the ensuing weeks and months and semesters, realized that person was passionate about music education, had a history in the drum and bugle corps activity, in the Blue Devils drum and bugle corps particularly, which is something that I'd idolized and wanted to be part of since I first saw them at Skelly Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1977. I'm a fountain of useless trivia. So I literally looked at what was going on and thought, well, okay, I can do that. Those things are achievable. I can't be 32 and be a jazz player, but that's something that perhaps I can do. So literally followed in those footsteps, eventually was drum major of the marching band there for a couple of years. Found myself as a member of the Blue Devils touring not just the United States, but the world. All of those experiences led me to graduate school and to the first teaching position and really set me up for everything else that I've done in my career. So I owe a great debt of gratitude to those organizations. That drum major was Phil Clements. I'm pretty sure that I'd be a jazzer strung out on something if I had a better person to follow than that in particular. I was thinking fruit groups, but whatever. You can insert whatever you like. The next thing that I'd like to mention, and this is something that many of you probably don't realize, and some of you that are closest to the program have seen this maybe behind the scenes, but that's the tireless advocacy that Professor Clements has had for the band program here on campus, for music education, not only at this university, but throughout East Texas, the DFW Metroplex, and then the state of Texas, and in fact beyond. I was fortunate when we reconnected here at the university 13 years ago now, that he brought me in as a partner, not just a colleague, and we had an opportunity to sit and talk about everything that was going well, everything that wasn't going well, what we thought could go better, and start to chart a course for the program. So I'm deeply indebted for the opportunity to be a partner in helping to grow the culture that had been here for many, many decades and will continue. That partnership allowed me to peek behind the curtains to see the constant challenges that happen between the School of Music, then the Department of Music, and upline to university administration, all the way down to the mothership and College Station, all the way back down to people that we deal with in the various organizations, athletics, and you name it here on campus. Just the daily fights to fight for the survival of the program, but to stand on principle for what we really felt like our vision was for what the students could learn here. And in many cases, I think he would support me in saying that we were looking for how can we provide better for these students than what we had as undergraduates in the music education realm. So students on stage, students in the audience, parents that are in the audience, and colleagues, we owe a great debt of gratitude to Phil Clements for that steadfast leadership in terms of prioritizing music education, not just great music making, but the next generation of musicians that will take our place as we near the ends of our careers and hopefully continue the same tradition of focusing on the individual, focusing on breathing musical life into people where there maybe isn't one yet, and then helping set them on their path for what happens next. So I'd like to say thank you to my friend and to my colleague. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to Dr. Walker and to Garth Gunderson for inviting me to be part of this evening, and for inviting me to say a few words, because you never know what's going to happen when you give me a microphone. So the next thing that I'd like to do is have a couple of people come up and join me if they want to say a few words. They certainly can, and that's two of our previous assistant directors of bands that we've had here on campus. One was here for 5 years, the other for 2 or 3, and it's been too long ago for me to remember. One is Dr. Ryan Yale, who is now the Associate Director of Bands at Miami University in Ohio. We spent 5 years together. The other is Stuart Shulman, who is the Director of Product Development, I think, something like that, for Ultimate Drill Book, and is running to be a school board member. Wouldn't have anything to do with the Heart for Education that this university has, I'm sure, in Frisco. So would you please help me welcome to the stage Dr. Ryan Yale and Stuart Shulman.
I just have one quick thing to say. So I did my master's here as well, and with Mr. Clements, and went back and taught, and then came back and, like Mr. Gibbons said, was the third director here. And the thing that has stuck with me the most, and it still lives with me today, and it's something that I've internalized. Mr. Clements always talked about it. The answers will always come. The answers will always present themselves, but it's about the questions. And so I just want to thank you for that, because that has stuck with me, and that is one of my guiding lights in life. It's about figuring out the right questions to ask, because then you'll discover the right answers. And so I just want to thank you very much for that.
In 2018, when Stuart left, Phil and Alan decided to take a chance on a guy from the Midwest and welcome him to Texas and really educate him about bands. I remember our first dinner together at Gloria's in Rockwall, after you picked me up at the airport, and sitting and discussing life and band, and figured out then that I would really get along with this guy and probably work really well with him. And for 5 years was a big brother and mentor, and really it instilled the attention to detail, not just about the way the bands were run, but the logistics of the department, and from going out and recruiting, doing auditions, which I communicated with all the seniors who were coming and auditioning, holiday gala, all the stuff that was part of my job. But just that attention to detail and logistics, and just because you did it well the first time doesn't mean it's going to go well the second time, and what are you going to do to improve and make it better the next time. And it's because of that that the Texas Bandmasters Association is going to be in very, very capable hands in the future. My second year was COVID, and we were supposed to have an audition weekend. That weekend it was shut down, and in 48 hours we came up with a video audition system. So not even a pandemic was going to stop us from doing business and navigating what it was going to be like coming back. I'm so thankful that I had him as a mentor to go through all of those experiences with, and to observe the culture and everything that made this program so special. You go around the country and you look at college band programs, and director of bands quite often are just focused on the top concert band. They're focused on that ensemble, and God forbid something happened to that ensemble. Mr. Clements was focused on every aspect of the band program, from all three concert bands to the marching band, coming out to rehearsal, even in the heat of August, coming out and sometimes walking around and correcting drill, going up in the press box, in the microwave, to the aspects of the basketball band, the organizations, Kappa Kappa Psi, Tau Beta Sigma, to recruitment auditions, all of those kinds of things. So I owe such a debt of gratitude because of the education that you gave me in the 5 years beyond any kind of college degree I earned. Thank you, big brother.
I come prepared. I have a second copy of the statement. And I've been here 10 months, and I get to have the last words here after these wonderful gentlemen that I've gotten to follow. But one piece that I do have is I got to see these last rehearsals this week with this ensemble and sit in the back where we all have sat and listen and do sound checks and watch the interaction of Mr. Clements with these students. And so what I want to talk about is the person and the human being that I see in Phil Clements. Today we honor a leader whose quiet strength has been a constant source of inspiration. A man who did more than conduct music. He conducted the very best out of each of us. Phil Clements is a master of resonance. Not just the notes played around him, but in the resonant sense of community, collaboration, and inspiration he brings to our lives. His pursuit of excellence has elevated us all, both as musicians and as people. As Johann Sebastian Bach said, "I play the notes as they are written, but it is God who makes the music." Through his devotion, his patience, and his unwilling belief in the power of music, Phil has shown us that true leadership is not about commanding attention. It is about creating space for something greater to emerge, something that will resonate far beyond the final note. When Mr. Clements first told me he was leaving, the first words that went through my head, well, I'm not going to tell you what those words that went through my head were, because I might be fired. The immediate emotions that I had were sadness and loss for my friends. But once I started to not make it about me, I realized how immensely happy I was for Phil and Amy Clements, and how excited I was, as my predecessor said, to the state of Texas. We've had the privilege for 17 years to experience Phil Clements. Now it's time for the great state of Texas to experience Phil Clements and all of the expertise that he has. What a difference he's going to make for us, and what an important time for Phil Clements to be leading our state. Phil, though I only got to work with you for a year, know that you've touched my life and my career forever. Your words of encouragement, steady presence, and dry, sarcastic humor will be with you for a lifetime. Thank you, Phil Clements. On behalf of the School of Music and the band department, we'd like to honor Phil Clements with a plaque that reads, "Presented to Phil L. Clements, Director of Bands, in appreciation for 17 years of service to the East Texas A&M University Bands." By the way, I went back and forth on what I was going to call that, but that's what it is now. 2008 to 2025. Thank you for 17 years of service and dedication. You will be missed. Performance, passion, pride. Go Lions, April 2025, Phil Clements.
I've never gotten to sit in a concert before. This is great. I won't take long. I shared my thoughts with the ensemble yesterday. I can't tell you how humble I feel in seeing all of you here this evening, in your recognition, in my current colleagues and former colleagues. I've had the best people in the world to work with, the best musicians, the best teachers, but also the best people. It has been an honor for me to be here for 17 years. There have been many, many nights that I was here late, and I want to thank my family, because when I was here, I wasn't there. My two sons and my wife, Amy, were always understanding, and they always supported me in being a mentor to these students when I couldn't be at home with them. So I want to thank them very, very much from the bottom of my heart for that. And I want to thank all of the students in the audience for your trust in me and your faith in me, and my colleagues the same. Thank you for believing in what we have accomplished here over these 17 years. This program has had ups and downs in its history, and there are alumni here tonight that have experienced both of those. When I came 17 years ago, we had a marching band of 78 students. We had a wind ensemble and half of a symphonic band. And we built a program that I think is not just recognized within the state, but recognized within the nation. And when I say we, I mean all of the students. I think sometimes we get to stand up front, but as you listen to the amazing musicians on this stage this evening, I don't know how you can be anything but just dumbfounded by what they were able to accomplish. And I just want to say publicly to them, thank you all so much for your musicianship, your work ethic, your hearts and your souls. They do everything that you could possibly want from an ensemble. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much from me to you. I will do my absolute best to represent all of us in Lion Nation at the state level at Texas Bandmasters Association. And the great thing, as I wrote in the program, is the fact that these relationships don't end. In music, it just keeps connecting. I mean, Kevin Bacon has nothing on musicians. Nothing, not even close. So we will continue to connect all of the students in the audience. We will continue to connect. And I expect to see all of you at TVA every year. So the final piece on the program tonight, as I thought about putting this together, is the piece that I closed the last concert my first semester here. And I thought it kind of brought it full circle. It's a great piece by Ron Nelson. It's based on one theme. You're going to hear it 25 times in Passacaglia. And it's going to start with uncertainty. And I can tell you it's very, very similar to how I felt when I arrived at this university 17 years ago. Uncertain. But through steadfast determination with all of the great colleagues you've heard from and that are part of this university, we continue to say the same thing. We continue to believe in what this band program and this School of Music could be. And you'll hear it evolve from uncertainty to something that's glorious at the end of the piece. So I think it serves several purposes. For me, it's a full circle to the piece I did my first semester, but I think it's very, very representative of what we've accomplished here at the university and what I hope this band program will continue to be for many, many years into the future. I can't tell you again, thank you so much for being here this evening, supporting music education and the arts and supporting these fabulous musicians on stage. Thank you very much.